trying to hit my goal of 2,000 subscribers before Guilty Gear Strive comes out on June 11th. So if you enjoyed today's video or any of the ones that you might have seen here in the past, consider subscribing. It really does help me out a lot. Something really tricky about fighting games is the time that it takes to get good at them. If you ask anybody, they'll usually have a different answer as to how long they've been playing and how good they think they are. This is one of the very rare genres that has a history spanning back 20 plus years. And I think it's really cool. It sort of has a legacy to it. Other esports won't have until, the next 20 years if they even last that long. And with a history and a legacy that, games like Street Fighter have and Tekken, you see it evidenced through the ages of the players who are making top 8, or the ages of the players who are winning events. In the Japan qualifier for CPT a few weeks ago, you saw that pretty much everybody in top 8 was 30 plus. They were over 30 years old, except for maybe 1 or 2 of them were in their 20s. And I think that's a culmination of legacy skill between the older players and ability to learn and interpret skills from the younger players. If you take a look at the CPT West qualifier that just happened this weekend, Nephew won, and he's also very young. Now, why is it in every other genre of esports, whether it be, the Battle Royale, FPS, MOBA, whatever, a lot of young players are dominating the space? When it comes to fighting games, older players thrive fairly well. And I think this is a difference in how everyone learns, how everybody learns at a different pace, and whether they choose to keep that pace going. For when the older players were learning the game, I know they didn't have access to the same resources that we do, learning the game now, right? YouTube videos, various internet forums and, Google Docs, Discords, whatever it may be. This influx of information for newer players and younger players, I think, can be a double-edged sword, right? It's very daunting to open a Google Doc and see 25 pages of information on a character you don't even know you just might happen to be interested in. For most of my casual friends who have picked up any fighting game, whether it be Guilty Gear or Street Fighter, those are the two that mainly they've tried. Whenever they want to learn a character, they want all the information in one place. And when you send it to them, it looks very scary, right? It looks like, oh, this character is way too hard. I'm going to switch, right? I'm going to switch to an easier character, and I'll come back to this guy. But then when you switch characters, you don't want to stick with the game anymore because the other character you picked isn't fun. You want to play the character that you want to learn. It's just getting there. It's just getting the pacing down to learn the information, pace yourself correctly, and block things out. I think that's a skill that you learn in school, right? Is scheduling things out, trying to get assignments done, and, blocking your schedule so that you can understand things in the right time when you need to know them. If you think about it, trying to learn a character can be sort of like a lesson, right? It can sort of be like a class. And on the first day of school, you don't get a giant textbook and then get told to read the entire textbook before the next class. It just doesn't make sense. Given a chapter assignments, you're given different assignments to learn things at your own pace. You might have a schedule or a deadline that needs to be met. It's up to you to figure out how you want to pace yourself so that you know the information by that deadline. I think we can apply that same theory to fighting games, to learning a character, learning a game, whatever it may be that you want to learn in your respective game, be broken down and consumed in the way that you know how to learn it. For example, in this video that you're watching here, my friend Steve is playing Zeku. He doesn't play Zeku. This is like his 18th character, right? He's a Grandmaster player. He plays like Honda, Cody, Ed, Colleen. He plays like 8 characters, all at a Grandmaster level. He made this account just a week ago to learn Zeku, and you can see he's already Ultra Plat, right? His fundamentals have carried him very far. He understands the game way better than I do, and you can see that we're both learning a new character. I'm learning Rose, he's learning Zeku, and he beats me majority of the time still. Even though I got a little bit of a head start on him, he is pacing himself a lot faster because he understands things about the game that I don't. So I'm trying to learn a character and some game mechanics while he's just trying to learn the character. Steve's been playing Street Fighter for a very long time across multiple titles. So it's impossible for us to learn at the same rate because he already knows things that I don't. He's not going to relearn things that he already knows. I'm trying to catch up. Somebody at the very top level of gameplay is not going to be progressing at the same level as somebody lower. And once you recognize that, I think you can start to close the gap. You can start to close the gap between you and the upper echelon, as you can accept that they've put in more time and they deserve to be there. It's up to you to put in that time and get to where they're at. Another factor that I briefly touched on that affects the rate at which you're learning is fun, right? Whether you want to actually be playing the game. This is why you hear a lot of streamers give the advice to play a character you think is fun. Don't look at a tier list. Tier lists don't matter until you get to the top 0.001%. Even once you get there, if you're amazingly good at your character, chances are you can still win on that character. Take Infiltration, for example. Jury's a B tier character, right? People say Jury's B tier, she's low tier, mid tier, whatever. Infiltration has taken that character to the heights, right? He's taken that character to grand finals of tournaments. He's taken her everywhere simply because he likes his character, right? I remember watching him play Granblue and he picked Matera. And Matera was not the best character, right? I think Catalina and Gran were when the game came out, really. And when people asked him in Twitch chat or in his Afrika chat why he played Matera, he just said because he wanted to play his waifu. That was it. There was no rhyme or reason to it. If you really like playing a character, you'll like playing the game, and you'll want to divulge deeper and deeper into that character. You can continue to succeed, so you can continue to play your character at a higher level. Because after all, it's no fun watching your waifu get beat up. Man, one story that I never told on this channel that I think fits this narrative is I made a previous video about getting good at fighting games and like how long it would take to get good at fighting games. I ended up getting a comment on Reddit from like a League of Legends player, because I did post it on like our Summoner School, I think, because I thought it fit pretty well. It fit League pretty well, the sort of mindset and things that we talked about. I got some great reception, except for one comment that said that you have a genetic cap. You can only be so good at video games genetically. Everyone might learn at a different pace, but you're not capped genetically at how good you can be at video games. The only genetic thing that I think you can be capped on would be if, like fitness, right? If you're bodybuilding, your body can only grow a certain way genetically, right? And that makes sense. But your skill at video games is not, it's not a genetic thing. You're not genetically a gamer. You're not genetically born a gamer. Like, just out of pure curiosity, I clicked on his profile because that was the most insane thing I've ever read on Reddit. Listen, I played League for years, right? And I remember in all chat people typing that you are genetically gapped as a joke, right? Like genetically on every level they're better than you at the game, and it's a joke. But this guy believed it because he had posted it multiple times on multiple subreddits of multiple games. The reason he could not progress was because genetically he was built different, bro. He was built different. He just couldn't do it. I just completely forgot about that story until I was making this video right now. So I can't believe I didn't talk about it before. Anyways, if you're comparing the way that you learn or the pace at which you're learning to whoever it may be, right? Me, your friends, you know, people older than you, people younger than you. Just remember that everybody's in different parts of their fighting game career at any time. And you could all be learning different things at different paces and at different times. If seeing somebody who started around the time you did progress faster than you bothers you, you just have to remember that everyone learns at a different pace. And what's more important is just finding the way that you learn best, the way that you learn most effectively, and the way that you can comprehend things. Because just like school, in the end, it's not how fast you learn something, it's how comprehensive you learn something. It's how much you absorb and how much you can recall that information when it comes time to use it. Because a learned skill means nothing if you can't apply it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, consider subscribing.